This is a basic math question, and one that we should be able to do without too much difficulty. These sorts of simplifications come up quite a bit in chemical calculations. So let's take a look at this one. It says to simplify, and simplify is a term that's often used in math. What it means is we want to take this complex fraction and convert it into a basic or simple fraction. So I'm going to rewrite it slightly, just so that we can see how I'm going to manipulate this. It says 6 is in the numerator, and then in the denominator there is a ratio, a fraction, 7 divided by 6. So this is a complex fraction, but I'm going to write it slightly differently. I'm going to write it as 6 divided by 1. So 6 is in the numerator. I'm going to write that as 6 divided by 1. And then in the denominator, I'm going to write the fraction as it is written here, 7 divided by 6. And the reason I'm doing that is to show you one method for simplifying it. We now have a complex fraction. We have a fraction in the numerator and a separate fraction in the denominator. And my goal at this point is to eliminate the fraction in the denominator. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take advantage of the following idea. If I take something, for example, x, and I multiply it by 1 divided by x, it's reciprocal. That is equal to 1. 1 times x divided by x. X divided by x is 1, so that leaves us with a simple result of 1. So I'm going to do the same thing in the denominator here. I'm going to multiply 7 divided by 6 by its reciprocal. The reciprocal is just take what's in the denominator and put it in the numerator, take what's in the numerator and put it in the denominator. So if I multiply, in fact, let me put an x here just so that we're clear we're multiplying by this fraction, 7 divided by 6 times its reciprocal, that would be equal to 1. And you can even show that 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 6 divided by 6 is 1. Now, remember the rules of algebra are that if you multiply the denominator by this fraction, that will change the value of the complex fraction unless you multiply the numerator by the same ratio. So I'm going to multiply the numerator by that same 6 divided by 7. Now I can simplify this because everything in the denominator has canceled and we just have 1 in the denominator. Now we consider the numerator. 6 times 6 is 6 squared. 1 times 7 is 7. And of course, if we're dividing this fraction by 1, we don't even have to write the 1 anymore, so we can just simplify this as 6 squared over 7. So that is now simplified. Of course, we could go ahead and write this out as 6 times 6 is 36, so we could also write it as 36 over 7. And even though this question doesn't ask us to do it, it says just simplify it. In practice, we are generally interested in numerical results, numerical calculations in chemistry. So we would go ahead and calculate 36 divided by 7, and to 3 significant figures, we would get a number of 5.14. So that is not necessarily what was asked for in this question. 6 squared over 7 or 36 over 7, that's the simplified answer, but in practice we would probably go ahead and calculate this out.